Welcome to Health Hub Live today. My name is Samantha.
Hi, and I'm Bonnie.
And we're both dietitians that work here at St Vincent's Private Hospital. Today we're going to be talking about healthy snacking alternatives and mindful eating practices. So we're going to start off by talking a little bit about why our snacking might be unhealthy at the moment during these unusual times. And Bonnie's going to give us some techniques on how to use mindfulness practices while we're eating. And then we're each going to share with you some of our favourite snacks and talk to you about why we like them. So I guess these unusual times that we find ourselves in, there's a couple of reasons why we might be snacking unhealthily. So first and foremost, the most obvious, I guess, is that we have a loss of daily structure in our lives. So we're not necessarily all getting up and going to work and getting dressed and having meals with, people that we normally have meals with. We're not exercising or socializing. So none of that is happening, and we're finding ourselves at home a lot more, and there's lots of food at home, and it's very easily accessible as well. So that's the first thing that's a bit unusual at the moment. And the second point that I'd like to make is that when we are stressed, our bodies release a hormone called cortisol. And cortisol's job is one of its jobs is to make us feel hungry. And the reason for that is that our brain is searching for energy to enable us to fight the threat that is causing the stress. So there are sort of a couple of reasons behind why we might be leaning towards snacking unhealthily during these very unusual times we're finding ourselves in. So what can we do to snack less during lockdown? I've got some tips for you that will hopefully be helpful. The first is to have regular meals. So when we are having regular meals of balanced, healthful diet, having lots of different nutrients, lots of different flavors, lots of different textures, then we are hopefully finding ourselves full and not wanting to snack too much in between our meals. So the second tip is to create routine in your life. So that's what we've lost, and trying to get that back a little bit, and trying to make sure that we're picking exercises or doing things that we find fun as well. So a really big key to snacking unhealthily is to find other alternatives for our boredom and for our stress. So things like having Zoom catch-ups with our friends, turning on the music and having a bit of a dance around the living room, exercising, finding a new hobby. I know some of my friends have taken up playing instruments they haven't played since primary school. So try and create a routine in your day and factor in your meals and your snacks into particular times of the day. Also limit your binge food. So try not to keep those sorts of foods at home. Then you won't be distracted necessarily to go and binge or be tempted to binge on them. Also try and have foods that are really high in protein and fiber. So they're two nutrients that you will find keep you nice and full. And we've got some great snack ideas that we'll go through a little bit later that contain those nutrients. Also try to eat from a bowl rather than having the snack food in the packaging that it's come in, particularly if it's not a portion controlled package. So it's not bottomless eating that you just keep going until you get to the end or finish whatever it is that the packaging is, which is usually more than one serve. Also, make sure that you're getting enough sleep as well. So sleep can really affect our hunger and our motivation, our appetite signals. Try and make sure that you're getting your 7 to 9 hours of sleep overnight to avoid that. There's also something called loophole spotting. So loophole thinking, where you are kind of allowing yourself or letting yourself off indulging in unhealthy behaviors. So an idea of a loophole thinking is this doesn't count loophole. So this is a pandemic, it's an emergency situation. and I don't need to worry about managing my snacking behavior because I'm dealing with all these other emergency unusual circumstances. Another loophole could be a false choice loophole. So I'm busy managing all these other changes and I don't have time to eat properly. Or a third loophole type of thinking is the planning to fail loophole. So when you're going shopping and you're buying yourself 3 packets of biscuits and you're telling yourself that you will eat that slowly over time, maybe a bicky couple of times a week, knowing full well that that's probably not what's going to happen. So you really try and hone in and identify this loophole pattern thinking and reject it. Don't let yourself off that unhealthy behavior. And the last strategy I have is to turn off the screen before you pick up the fork. So mindless eating is encouraged when we're eating at the same time as watching TV or playing video games, all those sorts of things. And there is a tendency then to potentially overeat. So Bonnie's got some really great ideas around some techniques for mindfulness eating. And she's going to explain a little bit about what that is too.
Okay, thanks so much, Sam. So first of all, what is mindful eating? So basically, mindful eating is just about using mindfulness really to reach that state of attention with our eating and our experiences around eating, and engaging those physical cues with eating, and our, engaging in slowing down to eat the meal. So by doing that, really, you're focusing on that, you're a bit more calmer with the eating and slowing down. When you're engaging with the senses and aromas and the textures of food too, when you're much more calmer and you're able to make better, positive, more food choices as well. It allows us to really sort of remove that, black and white thinking of, that mindset of, this is good or bad for me. Really trying to break that unhelpful relationship with your food. So this is what mindful eating, it also really tries to help really make us aware of our emotions around eating, perhaps if we do have any, and just really have that, reducing those stressful eating times as well. So I've got a couple of tips, around 6 tips today. First of all, I think what you're going to do is maybe just ask yourself, some 2 simple questions. So the first one is, how hungry am I? And that, really sets that boundary or intention. Am I hungry? Is it because of some sort of boredom or stress or anything else? Or am I actually truly hungry? And the next thing is really, what does my body need? So those are some good questions. The second tip, I think, actually, that Sam's mentioned just now, is just to remove yourself from distractions when you're eating. And that really helps with that mindful eating and slowing down to eat, and being more calm, and then being more compassionate with ourselves. So really, for example, just finding a nice, positive space in your place or in your house or anything, and, no TV or anything, putting on some nice music and listening to that while you're eating and enjoying your meal. So the third one as well is just really engage your senses. So, for example, when you start, with the mindful eating, maybe, for example, with any meal or any snack, whether that could be, a piece of chocolate, it could be something that you love, like a grape or whatever that may be, just to practice that. So what you want to do is just really, before you even eat that food, just enjoy, look at, engage all those senses with that meal. So look at that, enjoy the texture, have a feel of it. Check out the colors, comment on it, even just appreciating where it's coming from too can help set that mindfulness up, which is great. And then when you take that first bite, just, close your eyes and just have, a taste of that and really savor that bite. So, you can practice that anywhere. That's what I find, is great to start that mindful eating practice. Another tip I think is really good is maybe just using your non-dominant hand when you're eating, or using a different utensil. So for example, if you're eating, maybe, if you start off with your right hand, maybe try and eat with your left hand for once in a while. Have a go, make it fun. It's great to do that. Another thing is perhaps if you use a fork instead, maybe use some chopsticks and have a go and see how you go with that. So it just really sets that that intention to eat as well, and to enjoy that meal. Another thing is really maybe using helpful technology, so Headspace, an app or things that might help with that mindful eating practice too. And the last tip I have today for mindful eating is just really inviting others as well, perhaps to share. So, like Sam mentioned, host a Zoom session with your friends, cook a nice meal and, see what your friends are Uber ordering or eating. And then maybe that first topic of conversation could be mindful eating. Is it discussing about the meal? Really just, again, commenting on the meal and engaging in those things like flavors and textures and how that go and things like that. So that can really start you up for that mindful eating practice.
Great tips. Thank you, Bonnie. And you've got some of your favourite snacks in front of you. Do you want to talk us through a little bit about why you like them?
Yeah, okay, great. So the first one is just boiled eggs. So boiled eggs, they're great. They're quick and simple to prepare. They are packed full of protein as well, so they do keep you full for longer. They're great thing to carry. They're portable as well, so that's really good. They also contain things like your 9 essential amino acids as well, and things like vitamin B12, so that can help with your mood and your energy levels as well. So if you're feeling fatigued and you're not eating well, including some eggs in your day. You can also flavor it with things and combine it with things, adding a bit of some herbs onto it or cooking it in different ways, or adding things like veggies to it or, different things too that can combine with that. So I find these are really good snacks. My second snack as well is just some apple slices and some peanut butter. So, just maybe when you're choosing the peanut butter, making sure it's just a nut butter and just a bit of added salt, and then just putting a bit of a smear on the apple, and then just to eating that. And maybe, because it's crunchy, it's salty and sweet and all that, it's got all those different flavors. You can practice that mindful eating with it too. So the apples are full of good fiber, so there's a soluble fiber in that, so it helps with your heart health, helps with your gut health, and also because you're combining that with the protein in the nuts, this is really going to help keep you full and nourished for longer.
Sounds delicious. Thank you. So I've got a few of my favourite snacks here as well. I tend to be a bit of a savoury snacker, and papadums are one of my favourite because they've still got the savoury and they've still got the crunch. And if you buy, this is kind of the packaging that it comes in, but you can get them in little small ones as well. You don't need to fry them. Not many people know that you can just stick them in the microwave for 30 seconds and they come up perfectly. And just having them with a bit of salsa. So the papadum is packed in with fiber and protein to keep you nice and full. And the salsa is high in an antioxidant called lycopene, which is a very potent antioxidant that's great for chronic disease, for all sorts of chronic diseases, including cancer and cardiovascular health. And then my second go-to snack is probably some Greek yogurt. That's really nice and high in protein, again, keeping you fuller for longer. It's low glycemic index, so it will give you that steady stream of energy until your next meal. And it's high in calcium, so it's great for your bones. And I normally just add some berries to it, so they are high in fiber, again, quite high in antioxidants. So that's it from us today. Thank you for joining us. And if you have any comments or questions at all, please feel free to leave them in the box below. And thank you for listening to us. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.